Okay, I just had what for me is a very unique experience, and I decided I would make a video about it right now. I just watched a movie that scared me, and that has not happened for years. I was trying to think when, and I don't know, the early 80s, um, or even late 70s, watching The Shining with my grandmother, just her and I in this big house, this big haunted kind of, wasn't haunted, but there were certain parts I'd been told were haunted by my aunts and uncles, and I never really believed them, but and I'd go up the stairs down to the basement. There was a finished basement kids' room down there, and oh, it was a weird stairway that went into a dark area, and I just wanted to look in there. I ran up that step so many times, and I never believed it was haunted, but I could feel there was something behind me. But anyway, the movie is Paranormal Activity. I'd seen an ad, and I'm like, well, how could that be on Netflix? Isn't that just out? And it's like, no, that's Paranormal Activity too. Okay. So there's so many things here to face, and basically fear, because I mean I just have not had an experience cause fear forever. I mean in high school my friends all liked horror movies, and it's like, and sure I'd be a little shocked. Oh, Jason's still alive. Oh yeah, but startled, but never afraid. And one reason I can't be made afraid by movies, I thought, is because of my film analytic mind, my starts rolling, and I read between the lines. What's it really saying? What's the story really about? And I think Paranormal Activity is really about fear. And this wasn't obvious, and I kept thinking, this might have spoilers in it, so just stop if you want to watch the movie and come back later. Um, but I kept thinking, oh, she'll have had a bad experience, and this is the demon from that, or it doesn't satisfy any of its foreshadowings in that way, and yet it satisfies them other ways. It's a well-made film, virally successful. I totally understand why. I guess like the Blair Witch Project, some people go meh. I think maybe they're looking for something from that genre that they didn't get, or some special effect or something. And maybe this does rely on the filmmaker, evidently, because of course I went and immediately read all the background material so I could get as much material to not be afraid. I mean, I felt after this movie that my girlfriend fell asleep before it was going on. I'm like, how could you start me watching this movie? And, I felt like I had to get up and exercise my house. I made the dog come and spend time with me. But so anyway, the filmmaker was claims to have been so scared of ghosts his whole life. He was scared of Ghostbusters. He just couldn't handle any of it, and which is funny because Ghostbusters is one of those movies I think that helps you not be afraid of ghosts. Um, and he thought he would channel that fear into a productive purpose, and it made me realize, I had grandmothers that believed in ghosts and spirits and had seances and reported, including my parents reported all kinds of strange things. And, I thought I had grown out of any belief in ghosts, but I've been thinking now after this experience with this movie, I think maybe what happened actually is I formed one of my what if opinions. Well, what if ghosts are real? Well, they don't have any body. What can they really do to people? They could scare you. They could scare you into running off, a cliff. And basically, I felt, well, I'm more powerful than them. They're intangible. They're trying to work through us, and if we simply don't give in to that, then there's nothing they can do. So there's nothing to fear but fear itself. The ghost is trying to frighten you, and if you don't let it, there's nothing it can do. You can laugh in its face. You can mock it. And I think I mistook that for getting over my fear of ghosts because I can't explain the fear that this movie gave me. I think it's a well made movie in the sense that I am good at film analysis, and lots of movies, including disturbing ones that cause me a lot of thought because of the ideas in them. I always have this extra thing that's looking at it so rationally that the irrational fears are you know, non-existent or just not dominant. And so I think it was well made in that it didn't allow my rational mind to catch up, and I just got scared. And it made me realize that yeah, perhaps I've never given up my belief in that. I simply, when I was young enough, before my teens, to have fears about such things, I I I convinced myself. See, if you have something that isn't true that makes you afraid, I'm afraid the aliens are going to come. Well, you can just convince yourself, no, aliens are friendly. See, it doesn't matter because there are no aliens, here. I mean, I believe there's probably aliens out there somewhere, but not visiting us and and snatching us and stuff. So you don't actually have to stop believing the irrational thing. You can simply strengthen yourself. What if it's true that I'm still in control? And I think I must have done this way back when, because otherwise, what was it there to stir up? There's a lot of ghost stories from my childhood. And the only similar thing to face a fear I was surprised to realize I had is I used to live way out in the woods. I mean, the driveway was, I think, like a third of a mile long. And just a couple houses near us. And I would walk about, I don't know, a quarter mile or, I don't know, sixth of a mile, I don't know what it was, out to this tree, this old, 500-year-old oak tree that, was just a lovely tree. And I'd walk out there at night, and I'd walk with a flashlight. And I started saying, well, I'll walk without a flashlight. I mean, it was pitch black. I mean, it was really remembering the route. I mean, there were parts of this pitch black. And, I always have liked to practice surveying my surroundings, closing my eyes, and seeing if I could, how, if I could navigate. Amazed that blind people could do that. So, I went pitch black, and I found when I started doing this that I was really scared. This is an area with lots of bears and there's mountain lions. But in California, but I wasn't scared of those. That wasn't my fear. It was an irrational fear of the dark, fear like of spirits, kind of thing, and demons, and this kind of a metaphysical fear. And I recognized it as irrational, so I just did it over and over and over until I felt strong. For one, I got in touch with my surroundings in terms of sound. If there had been a bear there, I would have known from the sound. And, I could have been pounced by a mountain lion, but they like some light too. And I overcome it. Um, but, um, but yeah, they could still be stirred up, I guess. I feel better now, but I stopped watching this about a half an hour ago. And yeah, I was very surprised um, that the film could do that. Now, let me tell you, what if? What if it was true? What could they have done in this situation? Um, well, as soon as they knew there was something real going on, which there was, it starts slow with a lot of the kinds of things that people report to you when they think they've seen a ghost. Something was in the wrong place, or a door moved and they had filmed it, and at night, and sounds and crashes unexplained. But certainly once like they find this photo that could not have been in the attic, invite a bunch of loved ones over. Their friends offered to let them stay with them, but it's like, well, it's not the house that's haunted, it's this woman who'll come with her. But fill your house with people, right? We know ghosts don't like to be seen by a lot of people. They tend to like to be seen by one person, which is, of course, because they're psychological. But if they were real, then you'd have to say, well, there's something to this besides the psychology. Invite a lot of loved ones over to witness it. And then if you're dragged away into a bedroom at night, there's somebody in that bedroom, and there's somebody, and somebody could stay up all night. And but I was into the movie at this point that even when I realized that you should be flooding your house with people, and if you don't have loved ones, then tell the papers you've got it on film. You know, when the Ouija board started moving with nobody, but the camera caught it and the thing caught fire, and you know, tell the newspaper. Hopefully, people will come over and nothing will happen because you already know that you're scared shitless. So you doesn't matter if they think you're crazy. So if no friends and family, or you know, you're alone, you just released from the orphanage, and you don't have anybody to turn to, and your friends are too scared, then yeah, tell the newspaper and get the credulous paranormal people to come fill your house with devices, and um, but they wouldn't do that. Yeah, that was a scary movie. Has anybody seen that movie? I found that scary. And really, I mean, it's not just of ghosts. I can't remember the last time I was really frightened. I mean, I have been in situations where, oh my God, the car's gonna wreck, and I had a panic, but I wasn't frightened. I was like, oh, I've got to pull this off, this maneuver. I've got to, you know, a shock and the gasping afterwards. Oh, I made it, and all of that. But an actual like this kind of fear, like, oh my God, I'm afraid. I mean, something's behind. What's going on? Very unique. So yeah, you know, feel free to have disliked the movie because it wasn't scary, or to dislike it because it was scary. Um, Halfway through, I already thought, "How dare you fall asleep, my girlfriend, when I'm getting scared?" So yeah, movie reviews, comments on fear, or whatever. I just figured I'd get some thoughts off my head, since obviously I can't go to sleep for a while. All right, cheers.